send it out. All right, well, welcome, guys. My name's Joey Fuca, and I run, click the next slide, Jeff. I run the Lakeshow program. This is my family. I got two kids. JJ's second grader, playing a little hoops now. My daughter wants nothing to do with basketball, which is a good thing for right now. And she's 5 years old. Coached at Prolific Prep, did a little stint there, had a fun year. And then we went down to USC. One of my former bosses, Eric Musselman's the head coach of USC. So we went down there. We're big Dodger fans. So we went down there and got to watch the Dodgers and the USC team play. So let's go to the next slide. A little bit about our alumni. We've been doing this for a little while. So it's actually kind of full circle. We've actually had kids that have been through our program now and are working for us. So they're coaching, they're training, they're involved with the program. In fact, the Crawfords had a son that played for us, and he's playing down at Cal Lutheran right now for a really good coach. And it's kind of full circle. We got some, so we have brothers, we've got sons, and now, we're in 2026, which is crazy. We started this. My dad started when I was a sophomore in high school in 2005, and just a lot of lineage. We've had a lot of kids that have played at Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, NAI. And so with the Rolodex of contacts we have, our goal is to help your kid get to the next level. And sometimes it may be more academic, which means we have, a whole Rolodex of contacts for Division 3 or Division 2s, or a high academic Division 3, Division 1s. Or if it's a little bit more, hey, we're middle of the road academics, and athletics are a little bit more of a priority, then we try to do our best there. But academics I want to be clear, the academics are huge because especially with the current state of college basketball, there are seniors are current seniors right now are getting impacted by the transfer portal. So you don't want to eliminate yourself from being able to be recruited because your grades are on the fringe. When I say fringe, I'm kind of saying like anything under a 3.0. High 2.0 is okay. I mean, I maybe cover your ears, parents, if that's not okay in your family, but 3.0 is kind of the range. Like if you're considered a high academic player, I'd say you're probably anywhere between a 3.5 and a 4.0 plus. We had a kid commit to MIT, Aiden Lee, which is in a different hemisphere. But we always encourage our athletes to do as well as they can in the classroom than on the court, because you just don't really want to eliminate yourself. These are a couple of our guys. This last year we had actually, no, I take that back. We had 3 Division 1 kids off our Jalen Green team, our 17s. Drew Anderson committed to Oregon State. McKay Amundsen committed to Idaho State, which is in the Big Sky. And then we also had Parker Spees at San Joaquin committed to UC Irvine. And he's not on this deck right now, but we had 3 kids to commit Division 1. So yes, there is the rumors out there that the portal, these college coaches are they're still taking high school kids. And that's why we really wanted 3SSB for Lakeshow, because we've been doing this for a while. So for us to help your son get to any of these schools it's our job. And quite frankly, it's our passion. So in the left corner there, that's Will Corbett. He committed to Chico State, full ride Division 2, great Division 2 school. He's going to go have a great career there. In fact, JoJo Murphy, who played for us previously, played there for 3 years, was a Division 2 All-American, and then got bounced up to Division 1. He's at University of Seattle right now. So again, there's a lot of different paths at this. It's not always Division 1. It's not always Division 2. Sometimes it's D3, and there's nothing wrong with D3. I played NAI. NAI is a fine level. But right now I try to encourage parents, and I've had a couple calls with families that are on this call right now, that we want players to go where you're wanted, because the reality is that it is getting difficult. And high school players are still a commodity, but your role on your high school team might be a little bit different than our AAU situation. So yeah, that's and then you can keep rolling down, Jeff. I think there's a couple more slides. So we used for the last 4 years, we've been running Jalen Green Elite. I have, my brother has, my dad has, and we use Jalen's name to get on 3SSB. And so we've had, I don't know, we've probably had another 15 kids to go Division 1 from Jalen Green's program. And so BJ Davis, San Diego State, like these aren't like made up. Like these guys are like playing. Like they're BJ's on City. He's their starting point guard for San Diego State. Talos Toure is a great story. 6'11", sat in his living room. He was an elite student. I asked him what his goal was. Yeah, I want to play at Stanford. I said, well, let's accomplish that. Kyle Smith, whose son is in our program, plays on one of our lower level teams in Lakeshow, is in our program. And Kyle came to one of our practices and really liked Talus and offered him. So he's on their roster right now. He's not really playing a ton, but he's getting stronger. I mean, they're in the ACC, so that's big boy basketball. But I hopefully by the time he's a junior or senior, he'll crack the lineup. But he's at Stanford, so it's kind of hard to beat that. Keon Kenzie actually is at Portland State now. He had 16 rebounds the other night. I think kind of what the you're hearing is that like all of our guys, like this is a relationship. Like we don't just like have guys play for us and say, hey, good luck. We actually like follow you. Last night I got a text from a player that I won't name. He's at a good school right now. He wants to transfer. Awesome. We'll help you. We can connect those dots. We have a couple relationships with different agencies that we trust. But we want the relationship to continue, not just through this next year. Keep the decks rolling, Jeff. Okay. So I didn't have another deck. All right. So this is kind of our schedule. So the schedule for 3SSB is this. So there's 4 tournaments. One's in LA, which is the first session. And I believe that starts on I want to say the 24th is a Friday. So I think we're going to be going down on Thursday. So I gotta reserve. This is good that we're talking about this. I gotta reserve a practice time on Thursday night. I don't like kids missing school, but they put a session starting on Friday in LA. So it's kind of impossible to miss school or to not miss school. So my guess is we'll probably get down there on Thursday. Honestly, because it's in LA, we're not flying. Like we got families in Fresno, we got some families in the Bay Area. So I'm gonna probably drive. I'm gonna stick a couple kids in the car and go down there on Thursday. And we'll probably do a shoot around on Thursday night. We always for 3SSB will do a shoot around on the day before the games start. So like the 15th, we fly into Chicago on the 14th, I want to say, which is a Thursday. And we'll do a shoot around that night or afternoon, depending on when we get into that city. Unfortunately, 3SSB makes it really challenging. They don't have like big destinations. It's like you fly into, like even Indiana. It's in Michikawa, which is actually at the northernmost part of the state. So like you fly in Indianapolis, well, it's still a 3-hour drive to the top. So we're actually flying into Chicago Midway, which we'll share those details here in a minute. And then we're going to drive an hour. It's actually closer to Chicago. But I only like flying direct. I don't like any stops. I'm going to be away from my family, just you guys, the student athletes are going to be. So we like to be efficient with our time. So yeah, first sessions in LA. It's typically a 4-game format. So you'll play 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. But sometimes it can kind of vary. Sometimes it might be like 1 on Friday, or maybe 2 on Friday, and then 1. I try to have it just be 1 on Friday because it is travel time. I mean, the Ladera one's easy, but like the other 3 are not easy. So yeah, that's our schedule. Those are mandated events. So the 15s, the 16s, and the 17s are going to all 4 of these events. There will be a ton of media there. We will be hiring media to cover our own program because that's half the battle of this is getting content for your kids. So we'll talk about the social media component here in a second. But these are the 4 stops. Now, how much do we do before or in between or after these stops is kind of important. And I actually lean more on the side of practicing versus playing, just because I want to limit injuries. And honestly, the only live period, which means college coaches could come and watch the players, is May 15th through the 17th. So all the other events we play in, besides the July ones, all the other spring events are non-live. So that means that there's no college coaches that can actually be in attendance. So the April 24th through the 26th, that's not a live weekend. It's just the first stop for Adidas. We will play, and we'll get into the other schedule here in a second. We will play on the 11th and 12th of April. I haven't decided if I want to play on the 18th and 19th. I don't really like playing 3 weekends in a row. I'm a little weird with this stuff, but I've been doing it for a while. I'm kind of calculated when it comes to practicing versus playing. Um, I do think there is a balance of getting good competition in these other non-live weekends because everybody wants to play against Lakeshow. Everybody wants to play against the shoe circuit team, but we don't really want to open ourselves up for potentials of because we're getting everybody's best shot. So, the reality is that we don't really want to fly around and play in all these extravagant events if they're not live and if they're not necessary. So we do enough travel as it is. The spring season is actually a little bit lighter, which I love because
Yeah.
that actually helps all the families that are going to be going to Section 7 and Cali Live in June. Because the families that are on this call right now, if you go to the Salesians or the De La Salle, like your month of June is ridiculous. So it's actually not that bad of a schedule to backload some of the events in July. And that's what that is. That's because Adidas, they put an event in Bryan, Texas, and the dates are the 8th through the 12th. So you do the math. Like we're there from like the 7th through the 12th, which is a long trip. And they get extremely expensive. So that's the spring 3SSB, and then the summer they come back to Bryan. We'll fly into Austin, drive over, and then the championships is the 16th through the 19th. We'll share the decks with you guys too. There's actually like hyperlinks in some of these, so you can actually click on them and it'll bring up the schedule and it'll bring up all the stuff that we're talking about. This is our 3SSB schedule. We can just take the gold logo off that, Jeff. You don't have to worry about that right now, but this is just our 3SSB schedule. Now, again, for the families that are on here, we have we have a whole program. So we have 3SSB at the top, and then we've got Adidas Gold, and then we'll have other teams that'll probably play something different because they're only letting me have one Adidas Gold team per grade. So whether we do made hoops or something else, we'll probably have another team that outfits that. But for 3SSB strictly, a lot of the families that are on this call are going to potentially play all the way until the second week of March. If your high school team is any good, you're probably going to be playing until the first week of March. That's just a fact. Now, some of you may lose next week and you might be done. Or if you don't make the playoffs, then you're going to be done in a week. So we're kind of all over the pendulum there. Finalize that roster yet. We haven't finalized all rosters actually. But the 15U, I am going to make those kids compete. Some of the families I've talked to that were recruiting, you have a spot, but if I haven't spoken with you, then that means that you will be going to tryouts and you will be going to training camp and you're going to be competing to earn a spot because we we really think that the 15U is our baby. And our 15U last year with Jalen Green was really good. And we want to repeat that. So we're probably going to have about 3 or 4 spots that we kind of keep open for players that want to go earn their spot. It's like anything, right? It's like if your family wants to make an AAU decision right now for 15U, then do it. But if you want your son to go compete and earn a spot, then we're welcome for that because college is no different. You're not gonna, I mean, you're gonna have to go earn a spot. And so that's for the 15U. Now, the training camp is we're going to do one training camp in March at the end of March. I'm almost positive we'll do it at Brave Christian at my dad's school in Dublin. I'm meeting with the AD tomorrow to talk about times. Now, typically I like doing something later Saturday morning. So there are Fresno families or some of the families can have time to drive up on Saturday morning. That way you can save on a night of hotels. So drive up. Now the good thing is from previous years, we've actually recruited a lot of kids from Northern California. I don't really want to have kids from every state just because it gets really expensive and we want to practice. So makes it really convenient for us to kind of have everybody centrally located. Training camp will be the last weekend of March, and then the following weekend is Easter weekend. So we're definitely not doing anything on Easter Sunday. I think that April 4th might be a Saturday. So I would like to do something that Saturday, even if it's just a little tune up where we have a training camp. I'm also working on when you see the term training camp, I really want to bring in a strength trainer because I think that we can have my ideal situation would be bring our guys in, work out for 2 hours. 30 minutes will be hard skill work. 30 minutes will be team concepts, and then an hour will be competition. And then hopefully we can get a strength trainer. His name's Jojo Hughes. He's amazing. He's the strength trainer at Prolific Prep, and he's got his own shop here in San Ramon. He is the best. There's no one close. So I'm going to try to bring him in either before the sessions for our boys or after. So we're still working on that. And then we get right into it. Our first tournament will be the 11th and the 12th locally. We have 400 teams. It's massive. Multiple shoe teams. We'll get great games. It'll be more of a showcase, I'm guessing. So it'll probably be 2 games Saturday and 2 games on Sunday. And then the weekend after that, that's what I was saying. I don't know if we want to play 3 weekends in a row. I think that's a lot. At least I know, excuse me, for the 17s, we will not be playing 3 weekends in a row. I can tell you that right now. But we may use that as a training camp on that 18th and 19th. And then because I do think we need to do something as a team before our first 3SSB event in Ladera. So earmark that weekend because we will definitely do something on the 18th and 19th. I just haven't decided on what that is. So then we'll go to Ladera, and then the weekend after that we'll rest. We will not do anything that weekend. And then the following weekend's Mother's Day weekend. So, and again, it's one of those where it's like we kind of have to play because the live period's the weekend after that. So we'll probably play 2 games on that Saturday, May 9th. And we will take off Mother's Day. Thank you, moms. We'll take off the Sunday. So maybe we just do something on that Saturday, and then the live period's on that next weekend, starting on that Friday. Friday, I believe. Can't remember, but it might be Friday. But we fly in. I know we fly on Thursday, so it is Friday. And then the Memorial Weekend, we're not doing anything. It's just not. It's not really. Maybe the 15U does something, but I think kind of from the gist you're hearing me, like we don't need to play the weekends we don't need to play, and we do need to play the weekends we do need to play. So limiting risk of injury, limiting a lot of things that are components that we don't need to add onto the schedule. It just makes a lot of sense. And then June, summer schedule. You guys all go to your Cali Live, Section 7. We don't do anything in June. And then the hard part this year, guys, is that I think the July 4th lands on a Saturday. So we're going to have to do something probably on that Sunday. I don't know if my wife is going to let me do something on the 4th of July. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we definitely have to do something on the 5th because I think we leave for Brian on that. I got to look at the dates again, but I almost think we leave on the 8th. It might be the 7th. So those dates might be wrong. And then the bottom dates is definitely wrong. It's July. I think it's the 16th through the 19th. So Jeff, remind me, I gotta edit those dates. Don't worry about writing all that down. We'll send you guys the slides. We will break down. We'll make a team. We'll make a team thread. Haven't decided if it's going to be WhatsApp or iMessage. Some people don't believe in iPhone, so maybe we'll just do WhatsApp just to make it easy. But we'll have a. And Jeff, remind me, we need to have a league apps for each one too, so they can get inundated with some of their scheduling. I don't think we had that last year. We might have. Okay. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, that this is our program. We've got 45 girls teams and boys teams. We practice at OGP. I haven't decided yet. I do want to do a practice in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. Might be tough for Fresno families and Sacramento, but I do want to practice during the middle of the week at least once during the Wednesday. We have gym time at OGP, and we also have gym time at Brave. So I'm just deciding on which gym I want to use. I kind of like OGP a little bit more just because there's size. I don't want any of our guys getting injured. Plus, we have shooting machines and we have Vertimax there. So we'll decide on that later, but that's our facility. Click the next one, Jeff. All right. So hotels. So Adidas wants us using this search called site search. And what it does is it brings you into this search engine where they've already earmarked all the Adidas hotels in that area. So families, if you want to travel, um, you could travel however you want. If you have points at Marriott's or points at whatever, like do whatever is easier for you. For hotels, for the player side, we're working on finalizing every hotel in every city. So yes, we they are asking us to use site search. However, we within site search, there's probably 10 hotels, and we're gonna focus on one hotel and grab those immediately because those things book up and they get expensive. In fact, the May weekend for the live period is I want to say it's Notre Dame's graduation. So that's fun. So everything's kind of spiked up a little bit. So we're going to try to do our best, families, at grabbing a bigger block. So then some of the families can go in and book your own hotels. I can't guarantee that. I don't know. Our job is to make sure all of our players have rooms. The way it works with hotels for our players is we like to have players room with each other. And depending on which hotel we get, it might be two players a room, it might be three players a room, but we do room checks. We have coaches that are reliable that will go through and make sure that everybody knows that this is a business trip. We're not there messing around. We can have fun, but my version of fun versus everyone else's version of fun is probably a little bit different. So we will be doing film reviews. Like I said, there's one live period in the spring. So again, like if kids are out messing around, then it will definitely impact not only their playing time with us, but it'll definitely impact the way that college coaches view them. And for the most part, like we've recruited at the 17s and 16s, and even the 15s a little bit too. Like we've recruited the players and the families that we like. So I don't think we're going to have any issues there. We didn't really have any issues last year. Um, yeah, that's the site search and travel. Go to the next one. These are our flight hotels for Indiana. Um, we're flying Southwest for Indiana and for Texas. We are flying out of SFO because they had direct flights. Oakland sucked. And San Jose was awful. So SF, and trust me, guys, I did hours of research on this. Like, it was not just a cheap thing. It was like trying to figure out like what's the least amount of travel time that we can get to our destination. So, again, like this is not easy. Like these things are really tough when you have 30 players traveling and coaches and potentially families. So, yes, you are looking at 5:15 a.m. on that Thursday. There's no other way to skin this thing. It's a 3-hour time change when you get to Chicago. So by the time you land at 11:30 in the morning, that's direct. You have to rent a car, which of course with high school kids takes, it doesn't go as fast as you think it would go. And so you rent the cars, which I may need some help with. I've talked to a few families about that. Um, get lugging all of our players from Midway Airport to Mishikawa, which is about an hour and change. Um, and we'll probably go, I don't know, now that we're talking about it, we'll probably go check into the hotel potentially, or we may just go straight to shoot around. But again, it's a 3-hour time change. So there's no, like, it is what it is. So we have to leave early. I was trying to find other flights that like people could like have a life on that Thursday, but it is what it is. And again, these are Southwest. So if the families want to piggyback these, you're more than welcome to do that. This is Texas, so we're going SFO direct to Austin. So direct airline, direct Southwest SFO to Austin. That one's a little bit more manageable. That's 8:30 in the morning. But we land at 2. So it's not we Austin to Bryan, I think, is about an hour. It might be a little bit more than that. I can't remember Bryan, but it's actually closer to College Station, but you can fly into Houston or you can fly into Austin. But anyways, we're flying into Austin. We'll drive, same type of thing. We'll fly, we'll drive from the airport to straight to either shoot around or to the hotels. And then the last one's Rock Hill, and that one will be out of Charlotte, or excuse me, to Charlotte, and that one's American Airlines, because they're the only airline that I could find that goes direct. Again, like I hate to like harp on this, but like I hate flying if there's stops, just more likelihood that you're going to get stopped somewhere, and I don't want to stop. So American Airlines will be our last one, and that one actually wasn't that bad. It was that one was 8:15 in the morning. So hey, maybe we get two out of the three aren't bad. Okay, and then BBCS. I talked to you guys about this earlier. Everyone needs to do this. I don't know if they let you do it right now. Maybe it's early, but you can actually click on that. And I actually sent it. I sent it in the chat. So there's that. Okay, social media. This is really important. It's a huge things for recruitment, especially Twitter. Twitter is the biggest place for college recruitment. I want every player that plays in our program to have a Twitter. It needs to be professional. It needs to have their high school, their height, their grade. And then, like I know Kim does a really good job of content. Like it's Instagram is important, but not as important as Twitter. Facebook, that's not relevant. That's more for the families. But Twitter is a really big thing. And one of the initiatives that I want to have as a program director is we need more content. So we're going to have content that we spit out, and then hopefully it's one of these things where, and Adidas does a really good job of media as well. But a lot of these programs that are successful, they have their own media guy. So part of this is if you want like a highlight film for your kid, that's not something we're providing. That's something you have to do a la carte. But we will have a video guy that I'm working on right now. I think it'll be Brandon Garcia in LA. But when we travel, we'll find a video guy that's going to cover our program. And then that's really important content because that's what college coaches look at. And then I would say that the second component is professionalism. College coaches are looking at this stuff, and we just want to be sure about what we're posting um, is professional, and it's above reproach. We don't want any college coaches to write, anything negative about our team or our program. And for the most part, we do a really good job. We actually have our own Lakeshow 3 SSB Instagram right now. And we also have Twitter. So we'll start jumpstarting that as we get closer. We've already started announcing some players. We started at 17s and then made our way down. We haven't announced any 15s yet, but we have done a fair share of our 17s. We've done a fair share of our 16s. So we'll continue to do that as we kind of finalize things. All right. So the last thing is Lakeshow is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. Now, let me just be very transparent with everybody. For the last 4 years, we've run Jalen Green Elite. Jalen's been an Adidas athlete, so we actually get money from Adidas to play. We got $50,000 to travel with, and we got $50,000 of product. I'm flying down on Thursday to go recruit. The All-Star game's going on in LA. I'm going down to fly to meet with Adidas on Thursday to negotiate our deal for apparel. But part of our deal was this is our first year actually being on 3SSB. So we have to kind of prove ourselves. And so in that regard, like we didn't get any money. Like we don't get a check like some of these programs to travel with. So I haven't decided yet on 15U. I will be charging something for 15s. I'm not charging for 16s or 17s. However, we would greatly appreciate, if there's any support you can lend. It helps, and it's extremely expensive to travel to these events, especially when you've got 25 to 30 kids, your multiple nights of hotels, your multiple rental cars, and what else? I mean, uniforms, gear, insurance, all that stuff. But yeah, so every donation helps, and I actually kind of do like having our players travel together. I was almost like, hey, some of the players want to travel on their own. I don't really like that. I think that having all of us travel together actually builds relationships, and it just helps the program organically. And plus, I like traveling with the players too. So, Jeff, is that the last slide, or did I have one more? Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah, they
Uh,
got it.
all right. Well, that's kind of it for me. I'll kind of leave it up to questions. You can get out of the chat or get out of the slides right now. Um, I'm open for questions. What else did I miss? So each roster is gonna have, I know this is gonna get about each roster is gonna have about 9 to 10 kids. It will have no fewer than that. There's a lot of kids that want to be on these teams. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Every roster will have between 9 and 10 kids. Most will probably have 10. Last year our 15s had I think 9, but then we had a kid get hurt, and then the kid we were down like 7 guys. And then we had to add two. So I don't foresee us being in that situation again. So our goal is between 9 and 10. I'll be coaching the 17s. Christian's going to coach the 16s. Coach Q is going to coach the 15s from Granada. He's a great coach. He's the varsity coach there now. We just got the phone earlier about that. I think he's in practice right now. Um, what else can I answer? Has anybody else got some questions? No question is done, by the way.
Hey Joey, Brian Hunt here.
Yeah,
You said that some practices are going to be Wednesday. Are those going to be later in the evening, right after school type thing? Just kind of some idea there.
I think they'll be later in the evening for sure, Brian, just because we've got families from SAC, we've got families from Fresno. So I think they have to be in the evening. Now I think we'll try to do our best to accommodate the majority of the families. So like for 17U, if it's a 7 o'clock practice, we go seven. I kind of like 90-minute practices. That way it validates people's time. By the time you drive here, for some of our families who are out of town, we want it to be worth their money to drive up. So yeah, I think the Wednesdays will start. It's funny because some of our guys will go until like the CIF state, which is great. Like we want all of our guys to win. We celebrate their wins. But we may want to give those teams a week off just because you guys have been going at it for the last 4 months, right? So, but then we have other families that are like chomping at the bit to like start like right now. So it's kind of all over the place. But I think to answer your question, the 17s normally always go latest, Brian. So we'll probably go anywhere between like 6:30 to 8 or maybe 7 to 8:30. Again, the luxury of having a local team for the most part is we have kids that are local. So teams in the later evening. And those Wednesdays will probably start. Let's look at the calendar really quick. My guess is they'll probably start. I think CIF State is March 14th this year. So from Salida, it's 16s maybe merge with 17s at the same time. But since we at OGP, we have four courts. So then they'll get their own court, but maybe they're a little bit later in the evening, but it's
Find out information for the hotel. Do you plan on telling or shooting that info to us as well?
yeah. So good question. So everybody needs to we got to get everybody on email, Jeff. So I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce Jeff. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Hey, I'm Jeff. I do all the operations and backend stuff for Lakeshow for the entire program. So, registration, scheduling, all that stuff, I'm going to be taking care of it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I can send that out with the information as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we use MailChimp for all of our distros, Brian, but 3SSB will be separate than all of our other teams. So once I get locked in the hotels, then I will email you guys out ASAP. And in fact, I actually think I have the hotel. I think it's like the Best Western in Indiana, but it was not the options for hotels were not great. So we tried to do our best on trying to find something that was not cheap, but somewhere in the middle. But yes, we will email. We'll email you, and we'll have group threads for each team as well.
There are a few questions in the chat box too. I don't know if you saw those.
Have coaches be ID for each team. Have coaches be ID'd. Not sure I understand that, but each coach will have, so like I already passed my test. So like I have my own coach's ID, Christine, but I don't know. You should be able to look us up.
No, I meant have coaches been identified, and you already covered that.
Oh,
Thanks.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My typo.
And then Zaza, are we practicing only Wednesday? No, we are going to practice on the weekends too. So our goal, my thought is we have one practice on a Wednesday starting in, maybe it's the third week of March, maybe it's the last week of March. I'd like to do a practice on Wednesday night. And then some of the weekends that we already announced for training camp, that would be Wednesday and then potentially Saturday and Sunday. And then Easter weekend, Sunday. So maybe we go Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, so we stay off Easter. So every week, I haven't gotten that great at finalizing which weeks we'll I just figured Wednesday would be a good night. By the way, we have like complete, like I'm totally open. Like the luxury of having a gym like OGP is I get to pick the nights. It's just the reason I pick Mondays and Wednesdays, Jeff, is because Monday nights we have an adult league in there. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have like a ton of little kids in there. So the earliest practice we could start is 8 o'clock. So I don't really like starting that late. It's really late. So the only reason we chose Wednesday is you could start a little bit earlier.
Joey, are we gonna have a chance to practice twice, like let's say non tournament weeks, like let's say Tuesday, Thursday, kind of move the things around, like to add extra practice or whatnot?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Wednesday, so like some weeks we'll have like Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, which would mean you get 3 practices a week. And then some weeks might just be like Wednesday, like Easter week, for example. I don't want to do anything on Easter. So it'd be like Wednesday and then Friday, Saturday, which would be another 3. So I'm totally open to having, listen, if you give me more practice time, I'm not trying to be egotistical, but the more practice time we get, the better our teams are going to be. That's for sure.
Also, thanks.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Joey, I have a question. So last year, Reese was on the 15s team, and as it relates to travel.
Yep.
And, maybe this is an offline conversation, but, we're in Sacramento. It's not undoable for us to bring Reese to fly out of SFO, but,
yep.
Last year it was like, obviously Lakeshow would get a book of group tickets and they'd get prioritized like 17, 16s. I guess I'm just wondering, like, could you talk more about like, well, maybe if or maybe this is later, like what travel costs like families are going to cover versus like who's going to be in the group tickets for flights?
These are the flights that we have. So if you can't make those flights and you'll do something separate, but we're not like it. Trust me, it's impossible to like fly kids out of Fresno and Sacramento. I'm not doing it. So
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what I'm saying is last year there weren't enough flights to trickle down to all the.
There will be this year.
Kids. Okay.
Yeah, no, there will. No, I would never. No. We want to accommodate everybody. So it's tough, Christine, because like some of the SAC families get to a 6 a.m. like, that's like, oh my God, that we have to leave it. But it just is what it, it is what it is. Like it sucks because I'd love to. The way that Southwest does is they make you book group. Like I'd love to like segment off and like, hey Kim, take $300 and apply it to wherever you want to fly out of. You know what I mean? Like it's just not. I wish it was.
Yeah,
like
totally. I am not quibbling about the time or the airport. My question is like, is there going to be a ticket for my son? Yes.
Yeah,
no.
for sure.
Like, okay.
For sure.
Right.
No, we're not. We're accommodating everybody. We're not.
Right.
We won't leave him stranded.
Okay, fair.
But I've actually asked Kim too. Me and Kim are going to connect offline. I promise we will. I actually would love to have kind of a team mom. Kind of like Kim's really good at like logistics and she's got really good at media covering stuff. I've watched kind of what she's done with Anthony, but I would like to have kind of a team mom it doesn't have to be a team mom, it could be a team dad. But somebody kind of spearhead each team, kind of a liaison between Jeff, who does all of our back end stuff, and then me, the director. I think it's really valuable to have somebody that can do that. So yeah, we'll work on trying to find somebody for 15s, and then potentially 17s. Kim, I didn't volunteer you to do that, so we can talk offline
It's okay.
if that's something you want to do. Anybody else?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because last year I did all the laundry and I already have the mesh bags and that works really well. So I just put a number on the mesh bag. That way we can do it all together and lots of soap.
Listen, these things, thank you for mentioning that. These things are battles. And that's why I'm flying out of LA Thursday, because I want to have the best looking team out of 3SSB. I think last year our jerseys, they weren't like a 17s hated them. The 15s weren't bad because I did something different, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But they get these, like, I mean, last year they had like our 17s looked awful. And the crazy thing is they like gave us these jerseys like it was some like hot feature. And I'm like, guys, these so anyways, the jerseys are a huge thing. And I appreciate you for doing that, Kim, because it is a much needed thing, especially on the road. Our boys get sweaty,
Oh,
they get bloody. I
yeah.
mean, like, so like that would be a huge help. And honestly, like, to have somebody do that, it's a humongous value add. And then the other thing too is when we're on these trips, when we eat, we like to eat together as a team, but we've got 3 teams out there. So if you individually can't travel out there, give your son some cash or give him some money. That way he can. I'm going to work on getting us Chick-fil-A cards too. I know an owner of a Chick-fil-A down in Orange County. He always takes care. He gives us like 50 gift cards for Chick-fil-A. So we'll try to. I want our guys eating the right way. I don't want to eat McDonald's. I don't want to eat crap, because what we put in their bodies is obviously their engine and what's make them go. So if your son has like allergies or something that we need to know about ahead of the trip, that would be something that we should all get on the same page about. But the food is really important too. We really encourage our boys to wake up in the morning, go eat breakfast, especially at the hotels that we get comped food. It's like when you sleep until 10, and you miss breakfast, it's like, and trust me, when I coached a Prolific, I mean, not to name any names, but the guys in the NBA right now were the worst. I mean, they never ate breakfast. I'm going down at 11 o'clock, and there's guys that are like going to make millions of dollars playing NBA eating candy at 10:30 at night. Like, guys, what are we doing right now? So we want to kind of zero that in as well. Like, we want our guys to, like, and sometimes on these trips, like, it is what it is. Like, you don't have a lot of options, but that's a job as well for potentially a parent. And maybe it's Olive Garden one night where we have, we throw everybody together and we rent the hotel room downstairs and we order a bunch of pasta and pizza and do it that way.
Yeah. I think it is easier to do that instead of going out because that's so
Yeah.
time consuming.
Yeah, I think that going out together is it's ambitious, especially if you have multiple families on the trip that want to help, then it makes things a lot easier. But to be honest with you, when our boys are not playing in the game, I want them in bed or I want them resting. I don't want them running around hotels, dicking around. I want them focused. And we'll do film studies too. Like and we'll do a program study. Like, I'll have these guys downstairs. We'll show them what they did right on film. We'll show them what they did wrong on film and go at it that way. Anyone else? We covered a lot tonight. We had like 20 people on the call. There was probably another 20 that weren't on it. That's totally cool. Thank you for your time. Thank you for believing in our program. We really believe that we have the best program out there. I don't just mean that. I really do. We've been doing this for a while. I know that there's other programs to choose from. But we value relationships with people, and our goal is to help save you on college funds. So just know that, if we can help your son play at the next level and he can raise, he can go play at Idaho or go play at a school where they're going to offer him a full ride. That's our goal. And so, the 15s, if you get in at 15s, then you can kind of see the vision of the program. I've had that a question before. It's like, hey, if you get in at 15s, does that mean every year is different? I mean, we've got players that continue to get faster, continue to get stronger, and they kind of trust the process and they see the program kind of evolve. But it's kind of it's a little bit of a two-man's game, right? You kind of have to do your work. We'll do our work. There's a lot of different like agencies right now that are like representing kids. I know I've kind of talked to a few families about that. I would not worry about that right now. That's not really something important. And for a little clarity, I actually do help with a couple different agencies that I trust. We've had multiple kids that have signed big NIL deals, but not really something I want to discuss right now. My goal is to help these kids get into college, and if there's any money on the table, you'll be notified of that. But you're probably, if you haven't been notified of that yet, then you'll probably find that out about in the next 6 to 12 months. But other than that, this has been great. Hopefully it answers some questions you guys have. Jeff, if you can, we need to get some of their emails. So Jeff, can you put your email actually in the thread really quick before we hang up? And just for the record, I did get this under an hour, which is great because I got to go to the next thing. So Jeff Moss' email is right there. If your email is not, if you're not getting emails from us, then please take that email down and just shoot Jeff a note and say, hey, me and my husband want to be copied on the notes, or whoever needs to be on notes. We are heavy email. I can promise you this, guys. I will be the most communicative program director in AAU in the entire country. I will put myself against anybody. I'm not the best. I'm not the most perfect, but I will try to get as much information as I can ahead of time, just because you guys have lives. Some of you guys have multiple kids. Some have kids in college. My kids are younger, so this, I really have to be really efficient with my time. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for your time, and we'll catch up with you guys soon. And good luck in the playoffs.